Hey everyone, this is Friedel Hacker Raven. I'm here with my recap and review of The Wheel of Time Season number 3, Episode number 3. And yeah, this episode opened up with a major twist that I was not expecting at all. Well, I was kind of expecting it, but not in the way that it unfolded. So it turns out that Elaine's stepfather, I was side-eyeing him. I knew that he wasn't to be trusted, but the reveal that he was actually one of the Dark Ones took me by surprise. I was like, what the? What? What? But yeah, it turns out that his power is basically messing up with other people's memories. So even though he's been out for a month, as far as the queen is concerned and everyone else is concerned, he's been with the queen for years. He's the one who helped raise her children and all of that stuff. And I was like, wow. Like, you can't really trust a bunch of these characters because again we haven't seen all of the Dark Ones yet. There could be some of them that we have already seen, but we don't know their true identities. But yeah, it turns out that Selene ended up calling out the stepfather and another guy who's in the back over there, and she is trying to plan something with them when it comes to overthrowing the spider-like Dark One, Morgana, whatever her name is, because apparently she's not the most powerful of them, but she's cunning and she plans, and that's how she's able to overcome some of the more powerful Dark Ones, because she schemes and plans and all of that stuff. And she's like, that after she's done with me, she will come and kill you and the rest and all of blah. So she needs these two men to be on her side. After Selene is done with her speech, this is where we find out that the stepfather is actually in cahoots with again, the name, the Spider One. And yeah, it's like you can't trust no one. The Wheel of Time, trust no one. The two Dark friends that ended up surviving the attack and who ended up getting caught, they were, I think, the same ones who ended up trying to entrap Mother in episode number 1. This is where, because Varen has been trying to tell them about Liandrin's whereabouts, but no information yet. So this is where Nynaeve and Elaine are like, let us do the interrogation, and they end up talking to both women, and yeah, it doesn't work out the way they want it to, because it's clear that everything that's coming out of their mouths is a lie. The red Aja that Queen Margaze left behind in the tower, apparently there's something wrong with her hand. Maybe she has an affliction or something that might be stopping her from channeling the one power in an effective manner. We don't know. But yeah, Min has been assigned to be basically her handmaid and stuff. And of course, because Mother wants Min to keep an eye on her. Egwene is like, no, those two Black Aja were lying to us. We have to figure out where Liandrin is actually going, or is on her way to. And again, the artifact stuff, like the Black Aja did not mention the artifacts that Liandrin's team ended up stealing back in episode number 1. So Nynaeve goes to Liandrin's house where she was trying to look after her very sick son, and this is where the notice is symbol drawn from chalk and salt. Back to Auntie Red Aja. She tries to get a little meeting with Mother, but they're like, no, you cannot have a private meeting with Mother without a sitter being in your presence, and you are not a sitter. You are not. And also you gotta make an appointment. So Auntie goes back to the Red Aja that are actually inside the tower. And these two are the ones that she needs to talk to. And they're like, welcome home, I guess. And of course, Auntie tries to win them over by offering them gifts. She gives the one who's standing the gift of strawberries. And she kind of presents the necklace to the one who's sitting down. But she refuses the necklace. And she's like, okay, so what the heck are you really here for? What do you want us to do after you presented us with gifts? Basically, she wants to call to vote, and she just doesn't want Mother to continue being the Emerald seat and all of that stuff, because apparently she kind of was very close to besting Mother from taking the Emerald seat in the past, and she feels that she can do that again. But of course the Red Aja are like, you know what, Andy? We could tell that you came in with plans and schemes and stuff, but we can't really do that right now. We have other stuff that we need to address. Rand's group, while being escorted by the Aiel that ended up ambushing them, they came across this area where these caravan people got attacked, and then they're like, no, no Aiel would do this, but apparently they would. There's apparently this entire different group of the Aiel who go about killing people, I guess. So I guess we'll meet them soon enough. We get this scene where Perrin ends up visiting his family graveyard, and yeah, the tree that you guys are seeing is basically the tree that bloomed from his dead wife's grave. It's because it's in his family, it's tradition that when you bury the dead, you bury them with like an apple tree seed in their hand or something like that. So this entire graveyard is basically an orchard in a way. And this is where Alana tells him about losing a warder, and now in her family tradition, they wear the ashes of their dead loved ones on their face like war paint, and you keep on doing that until the paint like seeps in. We also get this conversation with Alana where she's like, you know what? When a husband or a wife dies, like when one of the couple dies, their grief process is very different than what me and my remaining warder are experiencing. There's too much because we are connected. Both of us are feeling the grief, and I'm trying to kind of protect him. But we'll talk more about that soon. The two Aiel women try and play the maiden game with the warder, and he's like, no, not happening. I've played that before. And they notice him like putting something on his sword. I think he's putting the ashes of his lover or slash husband. I don't want to call him lover. Like they were basically married. The ashes of his husband on his sword for some reason. Maybe it's tradition. Who knows? So this man and this woman walk into the inn because they're like, oh, we heard about Perrin being here, the guy that the White Cloaks are searching for, and apparently he's some lord, some fake lord, I guess. And Perrin is like, yeah, I don't want to cause no trouble. It is me, Perrin. I ended up killing their general, and I feel that if I turn myself in, they will leave you guys alone. We switch to the White Cloaks, and yeah, that guy is still alive, and they have Mat's mother and sisters hostage, and Perrin needs to rescue them. We again have a conversation between Mat and Min because again, Min tries to apologize to Mat, but she's like, you also have to understand why I did what I did, because Ishamael was threatening to take away my visions and all of that stuff and yada yada yada. And again, their conversation doesn't go the way that I guess she expected. Elaine and Egwene go through the books in order to figure out what that symbol that they found in Liandrin's house means, and apparently it's a very, very old symbol. You put one symbol in the place that they died and one symbol in the place that they were born, I guess in a way to summon them back from the dead. And this is where, this is where she's like, Egwene, oh my, the names. There's so many characters in this show. But yeah, this is where Nynaeve is like, oh, I know where. So I guess this is a ritual that's done in an area where the Seanchan were from. It's kind of like close to Tar Valon, I guess. And Nynaeve is like, yeah, we need to go there. That's where Liandrin is headed. Yeah, Tenchiko. That's where Liandrin is headed, and they also find more information about the artifacts that the Black Aja stole. And one of the artifacts is like a bracelet, and it's similar to the bracelet that the Seanchan used in order to control women who could channel and all of that stuff. And apparently, there's a collar that goes with that bracelet, and that collar is somewhere in Tenchiko. So yeah, that's where Egwene, Nynaeve, and Elaine have to go. A Grey One ends up attacking Elaine and Nynaeve, and of course no one was able to even detect a Grey One walking inside the tower because of the abilities that they have. And Elaine ends up blasting him away, and they go and check up on him, and apparently he's dead because he's been stabbed. Varen comes in and she's like, oh, look, yeah, that guy on the floor. What happened? And they tell her about how they were attacked and all of that stuff, and if they will be safe here. And Varen's like, yeah, you'll be completely safe. Just go back to your rooms and lock your doors and yada yada yada. And as Nynaeve and Elaine leave, she's like, you know what? The fact that Varen didn't bring up the fact that someone stabbed the Grey One, yeah, I don't think we can trust her. We gotta go now. Leandrin and her crew are in Tenchico, and they go back to this building where there's a wedding happening, and the wedding ends up triggering Leandrin's memories about how she was wedded and all of that stuff over here, and she gave birth to her son and yada yada yada, and she knew that this was like a child marriage situation happening, and she's like, yeah, I can't let that happen again, so she orders her crew to kill everyone there. Leandrin tells the little girl that she is gonna help her, and she introduces her to Naomi, and again Naomi is able to scramble a person's memories, and Leandrin is like, yeah, just take away all her memories, it's better that she doesn't remember anything at all. Auntie Red Aja ends up talking to Min because she realizes that she has been asked to be her handmaiden just to keep an eye on her, and this is where she reveals that she too has the power to see the future, but her occasional visions are not similar to the way that Min's powers work, but she can still see the future, and she can kind of basically situate herself in positions that are gonna be favorable to her. Apparently, she had a vision where she knew that Queen Margaise was gonna become the ruler and all of that stuff, and how building a relationship was with her was gonna be in her favor and all of that. And she's like, hey, I know that you're ordered to report everything you hear to Mother, but I've got something that I want to just stay between us two. And Min is like, what? And she's like, as far as I know, the Red Aja are gonna vote, and they're gonna vote to see if they have support about sending a team out to go and apprehend Rand and control him and all of that stuff. And you just know that Min is gonna tell all of that to Mother, and she's basically playing into Auntie Red Aja's hands. Egwene has a conversation with the old woman she saw in her dreams, and the old woman was like, no, I wasn't in your dream, you were in my dream. Apparently you're a dream walker. Egwene is like, what the heck? She's like, yeah, you can visit other people in their dreams, which is kind of similar to Celene's powers. And she's like, you know what, I'm gonna help you defend yourself from these nightmares that you're getting, because as far as I know, I understand the PTSD that you have, but Reyna, the person who did all of that to you, is dead. Dead people can't harm you in dreams, and even if they do harm you in dreams, it doesn't translate to actual harm in real life, but you still have those bruises. So it means that whoever is messing with you, that person is very well alive. So I guess we're gonna have Selene versus Egwene soon enough in the dream world. Rand is having this conversation with Selene, where Selene tells Rand that, yeah, there is a sword that you can use, but there's also a sword for a woman to use, and apparently if both a man and a woman use those weapons together, they can actually kill the Dark One. And Rand is like, is that even possible? Can the Dark One can actually be killed? Selene is like, yeah. And if we are able to kill the Dark One, I will be free from my dark oaths. And Rand is like, what the heck does that mean for you? What will happen to you when you're free? And Selene doesn't answer that, and you can tell that Selene is planning something. I think she wants the Dark One out of her way so she can take his place or whatnot. But yeah, I don't trust her. And the fact that Rand continues to trust her, like, damn Rand, damn, wake up. We have the scene in one of the steam baths where Lan and Moraine are being treated, air quotes, to a steam bath the way that the Aiel people do it, and they're just like sweating it out, and Moraine and Lan is like, oh, this is too hot for us. And then they bring up the prophecy and the trial that Rand has to go through, and she's like, okay, if Rand does pass the trial, what does that mean for your community? But she doesn't get a straight answer. And then Moraine and Lan end up talking about not being straight. Lan and Moraine notice this woman eyeing them, and Lan is like, you're allowed to have some fun occasionally, right? And Moraine is like, yeah, it's been a very, very long time since I've been with someone, but I feel like that woman is eyeing you. And Lan is like, ooh, I'm with Nynaeve right now, so that's gonna be a pass. But then he notices that the woman has like a tattoo on her back that's from his kingdom. So of course he follows her and he asks her what all of that is about. Yeah, the woman is from Lan's homeland, and she says that the Aiel took her in. They raised her as part of the community, but she always believed that the true king was out there, and that one day he will lead the charge to regain his kingdom and all of that stuff. And Lan is like, no, we don't. I don't think I want to do that. I still fight in my father's name, but the kingdom is gone. But the woman is like, no. If you want the kingdom back, it can come back. There's this town hall where they talk about Perrin wanting to surrender himself to the White Cloaks, but the innkeeper lady is like, no, that's not happening. that's not happening. We are from the two rivers. We defend our own. So Perrin is not giving himself up to the White Cloaks. Alana and Mark, I think his name is Mark, right? Or something close. But yeah, Alana and Mark have this conversation about grief and losing Ivo, I guess his name was. I could be wrong. But yeah, he's like, you know what, Alana, even though because we're bonded together, it pains me to feel that you don't feel any pain for him. I'm not getting any emotion from you when it comes to Ivo's death. And Alana's like, that's I'm doing that for you. I don't want you to feel any more pain that you are already. You are in pain, and because we're bonded, then you'll get to even experience my pain, and that's gonna be too much. So I am protecting you. And he's like, okay, forget about the grief thing. If we really want to close the chapter on our grief, we should be out there hunting Liandrin down. What the heck are we doing in Two Rivers, Alana? We have the scene between Perrin and the new woman that has been introduced, and basically she's finding Perrin quite interesting, and she's like, this is the first time I've ever seen a person being stopped from being basically giving himself away to the White Cloaks. And the town is like, no, we'll protect him. Matt and Pin continue to have their conversation, and this is where Min sees another vision where she sees that Matt has been hanged, and I guess he's dead. And Matt is like, oh, I recognize that expression. What did you see? What did you see, Min? And before Min can answer, this is where Elaine's brothers notice him, and they're like, Min, is this guy troubling you? And Min is like, no, he's not, and she walks away. So yeah, it turns out that the conversation that Auntie Red Aja had with Min ended up telling that information to the Emerald Seed, and she has a plan. She has to break away the Red Aja, especially the sitter, and she ends up sending her right-hand woman to talk to the sitter and say that the Red Aja need to go out, and they need to retrieve the false dragon right now. With the sitter gone, this is where Auntie is like, oh, now what do we do? And the woman that accepted her gift of the strawberries, she's like, well, I guess we'll have to vote for a new sitter. And of course, Auntie is like, that's gonna be me. Even though the town folks have agreed to not let Perrin give himself away to the White Cloaks, they're like, you know what, I think it's time for us to go back to our farmlands. And Perrin is like, are you guys mad? Do you not know what the Trollocs will do to you? How the heck are you going to defend yourself alone? And they're like, well, we'll figure it out. Perrin's like, no, the Trollocs even scare me. The best chance we have of survival is staying right here in Two Rivers in the village. Now, I feel like in episode number 1 of this season, Perrin talked to Rand about how he's not a leader, but I think that he's gonna train the village people, and that's gonna be the army or the people of the dragon that's gonna help Rand down the line. I could be wrong though. Let's see. Matt is using his bow staff and trying to train, and this is where the princes come in and they kind of joke about how he has 4 farm. And then Nynaeve comes in, she's like, Matt, I need to talk to you. And she tells Matt about how they are going after Liandrin. And I'm like, why the heck are you having this conversation in front of the 2 boys? Why? Why are you doing that? But yeah, Nynaeve is like, yeah, Elena and I are gonna leave. And Matt is like, well, you can leave, but you ain't leaving without me. I'm gonna come along with you guys. This is where the 2 brothers end up basically challenging Matt, and Matt is like, really? Sure? You know that I can take both of you, right? And I can give 2 marks to each of you. And they're like, yeah, let's do this. And the end is like, oh, this is such a nuisance. And Matt, like, he uses the old tongue, he says something, and I'm like, oh, so that's where they're going with him. So it turns out, from what I'm understanding, that all of these voices in his head, Matt can kind of summon one of those voices in order to give himself the skills that person had in battle, and that's exactly what he uses, his bow staff, to defeat both brothers. The woman ends up, I think her name is supposed to mean Falcon, so let's call her Falcon. So Falcon comes in to talk to Perrin, and she's like, even though you're not giving yourself away up to the White Cloaks, I know that you're gonna go out there, you're gonna try and save Matt's sisters and mother. You're gonna do that, Perrin, aren't you? Perrin's like, yep, that's exactly my plan, because Matt is my friend. He's like family to me, so I gotta make sure that his family is safe. And the Falcon is like, you know what? The hunt is in my blood. bloodline, and I feel that she could be one of the dark ones. I could be wrong, but that face, that expression, it's giving me the dark one. And we know that the dark ones are going after Rand's friends, right? So she could be the one going after Baron. And again, the hunt. She keeps on bringing up the hunt. Elaine, Nev, and Matt are ready to leave for, I want to call it Torchic, like the Pokemon, but Torchico or something. And yeah, they are also followed by Min. So these four are off to Torchico to basically put a stop to Liandrin. Liandrin ends up drawing the same mark she did in Torchico. And yeah, I guess she's gonna use some dark magic to summon her son back from the dead. She ends up talking to Naomi, who is going after who's reading more information about the bracelet that they have. And again, this is a very, very ancient bracelet, and the caller is someone somewhere here in Torchico. And this bracelet is actually meant to basically control a man. And apparently, I think Liandrin's plan is to put the bracelet on herself and put the collar on Rand and basically have the Dragon Reborn under her control. And while that's happening, we see this woman with the teapot walking away after listening to their conversation. And again, this is the Spider Lady, and yeah, she has her own plans going on, and I don't. Yeah, she's not gonna allow Liandrin to put a collar in Rand. That's not happening. And this is where episode number 3 ends. And yeah, again, I'm looking forward to the upcoming episodes. I enjoyed all 3 episodes. They could have released each episode every week because there was a lot of content to go over. But hey, I can't complain. Give me the entire season. I'll binge watch it. I don't care. But yeah, let me know what you thought of the episode down in the comment section below. And until next time, stay happy, stay safe, stay blessed. See you guys later.